Hello everybody, GL1 here, and today I'm going to talk to you about Bionicle. Bionicle is made by Lego, and back in the late 90s, Lego was running the risk of going bankrupt, and so they were working to come up with some ideas, and one of the ideas was this Bionicle set that would make use of their Technics set, but also would have specially molded parts to have a character in a box. And they were initially marketing this towards adults, but that wasn't successful. And then they reapplied the ideas to a story, an animated cartoon, and I think it was like a computer graphics cartoon. And they marketed towards children to great success, and it hung around for about 10 years, started losing sales in around 2008, and then they discontinued in 2010, tried again to reboot it in 2015, only lasted a year, and I hear that they're going to try to reboot it again this year, later on. So anyhow, this saved Lego from going bankrupt, and I guess I'm glad I was a part of that. So this set I have right here is the conglomeration of many sets. And this actually I built later on, probably sometime in the teens, the 20 teens. But what I had done is I purchased a whole bunch of sets, and my son was young, and he would go on to the Lego website, and there were people that were making, having little competitions with what kind of characters they could build. Well, I spent about $140 back then, and I built this character that I've always called Lord Ultimo. So Lord Ultimo is, like, to me, just the best I could have come up with at the time. And you can see Bionicle has a lot of ball joints. You see this ball joint for the ankle, so it can move all around. So when you make these figures, especially if they're big and heavy, like Lord Ultimo, you're going to have to really secure how it stands up. So this is a bunch of sets, like maybe at least 10 sets that go together. And so there were extra heads, and here you go, and some of those. And like the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, after building Lord Ultimo, I had leftover pieces, and then I built this fella, which is sort of his nemesis in my storyline, which is they sit on a shelf after I build them. But let me show you Lord Ultimo and why he's the ultimate. All right, so he's pretty heavy, but he stands really well. He's got the best feet. I just put everything into this. And in the back, he's got real working springs. These are to radio control cars, these springs. And you see they actually work a little bit like a hydraulic. So this actually moves in there, and then you have the spring. And then I have springs here. Let me show you here. Torso springs in the back that are supporting his shoulder blades. You see there's another one back up in here. And Lord Ultimo has all kinds of weapons. Here's one of the swords. I think this is one of the ones that lights up. Sometimes the batteries die. So let's see. That one working? No, not that one. Maybe it's this one. There you go. So you push that, and there you go. And over time, the batteries die, and actually, one of these I tried replacing the batteries, and it still wouldn't work. So sometimes the electronics just might go bad. So get all these extra pieces here out of the way. Okay, so Lord Ultimo has all kinds of weapons on him. He's got this arm here that shoots lasers, and he's got this one. It's an axe. And this lights up, and maybe, I think that's another one with the batteries dead, yeah. But it does the same thing. It's just, I believe this one's blue. And then he's got a sword shield on this arm. And I believe that still works. Let's see. No, not that one. Okay. But you can see he's got this. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Okay. There. All right. Yeah. All right. So he's got the shield and sword in one. And then he's got like Wolverine claws here. And then he has these fingers. There's his thumb. And then ball jointed fingers so he can, really look scary and grasp things, So that was an important thing to give him the best hands Bionicle had ever made. Here's another weapon this is one of those where you squeeze it and the pressure shoots this disc off. Okay. And then that snaps in there. There's more weapons. So here's his lasers back here. And then here's his other arm over here. And then that I made it, move this here. Okay. And so you have a sword in the center, and then the outside like a spinning axe spins around, so you don't want to get hit by those blades. And then there's his other hand. And these pieces here are actually fenders that go to a radio-controlled Lego set that is really old. And I used those pieces for this instead, and then I did something completely different with that radio-controlled vehicle, which you've not seen yet. And I will be showing you that because I did quite a bit to that. All right, so I thought this was the coolest head. I thought it looked like Predator. So I thought that was neat. So I put that head in, and you could see how as the light shines in the back, it's got this plastic where it makes it look like his eyes are lighting up. Then he's got these air pressure weapons here, and the way those work, or not, they do work, but some things with Bionicle just don't work that well, is you push in this red shaft here, and then the air pressure would make these little missiles fire, and then it would rotate. These spheres, so they fire. You pull back this. This is flexible here. And you pull that back, and then that shoots forward, and then that's to shoot. So, going to put the pressure and shoot the ball out. Actually, no. You know what? Use your fingers, and you just push it. Actually, yeah. So you go like this. That's right, and you just push that, and then the pressure. The thing about the Bionicle weapons is that you have to have both hands on them a lot of times to get them to work. So. It's and then the thing falls apart. So that's the other thing. But it looks cool on the toy. The functionality of playing with them doesn't really work well. Let's see. And so let's see. These are the fenders, the radio control car fender parts. This is also part of the RC car, Lego RC car. All right, so that's Lord Ultimo. And then moving over to his nemesis, which I actually never gave a name to. This guy, all right, so he's got a spear, and then he has, I have a rotating piece here, a gear, which is like it's a blade, and that can move down. And then you could see he's got like a claw, like a double claw and a clawed hand. Then he's got he's using the head of like a squid being. For kind of a shield. And then he's got a couple extra arms here, one with flames and one that shoots lasers. This is it. Yeah, on the weapons that he has are these weapons here. They're he falls easily. That's the problem. As much as I tried to work, I'll tell you what the solution I tried to come up with this, which never really worked that great, but he doesn't stand up as easily as Lord Ultimo for sure, is they have these little squids that it would fire off. They're really kind of like snot rockets. You put them in here, and then you pull it back. It's supposed to grasp in there, and you pull it back and let it go. Well, and if you pull too hard, it just comes out. But you're supposed to let it fire, and they don't work well. So like most firing mechanisms with Bionicle, they don't work well. But they look cool. And so, I don't know, I thought that was like a cool looking head. It can move all around. And because they're ball joints, they have really good articulation. To get this guy to stand, to give him a little bit of extra strength, because he's heavy, top heavy, I use these flexible pieces, but to give it a little strength on his back feet so they wouldn't bend quite as easily. And, to just give it a little bit of pressure pushing downward so I can help keep it in place. To hold his body in place, I used the other part of the radio-controlled shock absorbers. So basically the piston part of the shock, or the strut. So in here you would have your spring, which is what got used on Lord Ultimo, would fit inside here, and then you would have this piece here. These go on RC cars, but they work fine with Bionicle. And so they can move up and down, and they help give him a little bit of motion. He can twist a little bit, but also not too far, to help give him some vertical stability. So that was my solution on creating the Nemesis and giving him some power to stand most of the time. There, he's standing. And so here's some of the Bionicle sets that I used to build these. Toa Nuparo and Toa Matoro. I don't know if look, these came with the light up swords. And then Toa Nuparu. Oh, is that the same one? No, yeah, it is. Okay. Or maybe that's the place. Maybe that's not their names. You know what? I don't know. I really never watched the cartoon or, understanding the lore. I do know this, that Lego was sued over the naming because they were using Maoric names, and the Maoris thought it was disrespectful to be using their names, but it doesn't seem like that was a successful lawsuit because they kept going forward with it. Yes, he's got the spheres that he fires and the light-up sword. And over here, ta-da, is Vezon and Fenrak. Vezon and Fenrak. And that's a really scary-looking combination, right? He rides this big monster-looking scary thing, big teeth, and there he is riding on top. And I gave him he had a chain that was connected to the beast, but I gave him a ball and chain using the head of a Bionicle figure. And he's got his spear, with the bone claws on there. And this is a really neat figure in how it articulates. You can see how, let me move that head out of the way. All right, see how it's got the double shoulders. To give it, you see how that moves in there? So it gives it some motion, but not too much. It's limited so that it has stability to not fall over. And then it has even working like a hydraulic in here. And that pushes and that gives it, because the ball joint actually wouldn't be enough to support the weight. So you have two ball joints, but then you also have this shaft that has some tension, some friction in here to give it some friction so it would stand up. Now I got this second hand and it was missing the back leg. So I took some other Bionicle sets and I just made a back leg with it. But I have two sets. I have another set of this, and I did something with that radio control car with it, and which I'll end up showing you. Not today, but here is the other leg. And he falls over. But yeah, I got the other one, new, and I put that on the RC car, and then this one I got secondhand. It was like really cheap, and I'm like, oh, this is a really expensive set for like $10. So I'll get another one, and then I'll just, maybe use it for parts someday. But I just ended up keeping it the way it is because it's really cool. All right, so that's my Bionicle sets, and like I said, it's a lot of Bionicle sets. I just don't, but they're in the form of just these figures here and Lord Ultimo. So what do you think about this skull? I always like this one. I wasn't sure whether I should use that for the Nemesis guy. That would look pretty cool too. Also, it would make a neat shield, right? You could hold it up that way or that way, sort of like using a head for a shield. And then these are the little squiddies. All right, so I'm not done though. I'm done with Bionicle, but there was a set that came out in 2002 that didn't last long. And Lego was working with another company to make an animated series that only lasted 26 episodes called Galador. I don't know really anything about Galador, but I do know that my son wanted the figures back then, so we got the figures. And this is Nick. And I wanted to show you the articulation. So they wanted to make really action figures, but they figured, well, let's make them a little Lego-y. So we're going to put that Lego connector on, and then it's going to stick in here. It's got little, you could see, maybe you could see it's serrated in there to give it some ratcheting. So it kind of can click, 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 and keep it in place, which works. And then this also ratchets, and that comes apart. So you have really good articulation with these, but they do fall apart easily. And then you have the arm, you can hear it. Oh, look, he has like a TV watch, but really, this is 2002, so this is before any of those iWatches and stuff like that. So it's sort of like a, one of those. And then what's frustrating about this is it doesn't bend. It's just the shoulder. The elbow doesn't bend. And then on the other side, you have Mr. Punchy Fist that he comes with, and you push that in, and that punches. And his head has articulation too. He doesn't twist in the waist. And he does come with another arm. So he comes with a regular arm, which also doesn't have an elbow that bends, which is dumb. And then a wrist, here you go, that does that. Well, I guess his friend here is Allegra. So Allegra is another character on the show, and she has the benefit of actually having elbows that bend, which is nice, and shoulders, and it looks all around. So basically the same design, except she has working elbows. All right, so that's Allegra. And you have this warrior here, Siktari, and he's really neat with those glass eyes, and then you look inside there, which is neat. Good articulating head. They came with various accessories. I'm not sure if who this came with. I think it actually goes the other way, right? So it's like a, yeah, there, that's the head. So I stuck it in his back because I didn't know what else to do with it. But actually I took it this way, so it's like he's looking behind him. And then he comes with a squeeze spring hand, so you can squeeze that, and that closes. Wrists that turn. He comes with some kind of spear, but I don't know where that is. Actually, it's amazing I found all these parts. He does come with this other arm here. And then this guy is Euripides. All right. And so there you go. He's got like the Omega symbol on his belt. So he's just like a big frog dude. Got working elbows and wrists. It's kind of cute. His head looks up and down. He's the one to me that's most like an action figure. You know, he's just complete and moves well. And then, of course, you have to have, I don't know if Euripides is good or bad, but then you have, of course, Gorm, and he's purple and black, which always means that you're not good. You're up to no good if you're purple and black, right? If you're a Transformer, you know, and you're purple and black, you're a Decepticon. If you're the Joker, you have purple on you, you're no good. So here he is, Gorm, which is similar to the Star Trek character Gorn, right, with an N. But he's got an arm that bends and a wrist, and then he's got the big claw hand. I don't know if there's another claw hand that this came with that I couldn't find. That's rubbery. And then my son, when he was little, put this sticky, shiny tape on, metal tape. So I'm just going to leave it there. 'Cause he's missing, I'm sure it's somewhere, but you know, with Legos, you have big boxes and you don't know where everything is, and you don't feel like moving all the boxes to get to the box and then look and search and then find nothing. So I used Bionicle to make an extra leg. So now he's got a bionic leg, right? So that works just fine, doesn't it? The only problem is it kind of falls off easy, but I did what I could. All right. And then he's got spots in the back too where you can stick accessories and then go like that. And, you know, he can... If his pants are uncomfortable, he can kind of like adjust his pants. He's got a hand back there to adjust things there. All right, so that is Gorm. All right, and that is the Galador set of toys. But I have something else to show you. I don't know if you'll be familiar with this. Check out that. So this is Knight's Kingdom, and it's some kind of 3-card game. It's got 3 cards. It's a card game. Comes with a figure. And this has been sitting in the package since 2005. So 18 years this has been sitting here. And whenever I got it, which was quite a while because it's just been sitting in a drawer, it was $2.22. So I've never opened it. I think all the parts are in here. So let's take a look. All right, so you pull that out. All right, so that's his cape. So see how it's still sealed? I'm assuming that means everything in there is in there. And let's pull this out. And oh, look at that. All right, so we got all the pieces out for King Matthias. And here's your little Lego Club advertisement. And how's this open? You have to tear it open somehow. I don't know what they're expecting here. Okay, so here we go. Awesome creations, blah, blah, blah. Send away to the Lego Club. Okay, so there's your Bionicle. So, oh, look at that one. I never saw that. This Bionicle figure here has wings. So that's pretty cool. That would have been cool to have. All right. Well, here he is, King Matthias. And those are the other characters that you could get. But we have the king, so I guess that's the coolest. And then, and then they have Knights and Kingdoms. All right, so then your Lego castles from back then with your regular Lego people. That's a really cool castle. I have a lot of castle Legos, but I don't have these. I'd stop collecting at some point because it just keeps going on. And where are you going to put all these things? I mean, I was building castles the size of kitchen tables that were like 3 feet, had towers that were 3 feet tall and walls all the way around them, and I had stables and everything. So, you know, at some point it's like, I don't have time for this. It took me months to build them. All right, so I'm going to build this, and then we'll continue the video. You know, maybe you'd like to see me build this. So there's some interesting parts to this, the way it goes together. So you have your feet that actually are a lot like Bionicle. So here's your other foot, and then you put this piece in here. See, it has the ratchet pieces in there, and then that grabs that. It's a little different than Bionicle. It's also a lot like the Galador figures. All right, so we're going to make this leg first. Then we get this piece, and that's going to press there. And then we're going to take another one of these, stick that on there. All right, so now you have an articulated leg, and that's going to be your knee. And then this is going to go on there. Take another one of these. It's going to go to the hip. And then, let's see, this piece here. Going to go there. And then this is going to go here. And this is his shin and knee protector right there. So that's leg number 1. All right, and then they want me to just do the same thing for leg number 2. Okay, so now we've stuck those together, and now we have these legs that move around. We have a knee, we have an ankle. Excellent articulation, right? And it clicks and it's going to stay in place, and the head turns back and forth. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we got that. You can even turn his leg kind of like he's all standing casual. Contrapposto is what that's called in the art world, where you have more weight on one leg and you're shifting your hips and shoulders opposite to each other. All right, so then we're going to start, I guess we're going to be making the arms. All right, so we take this piece, got that, going to stick one of these on here. this is going to go in there. Oh. Okay. Turn that, so that's going to go like this. Take that on. No, now we're going to take the blue one on. Another one of those. All right, now we have, all right, so he's got an arm. So that's how his arm looks. Okay, so I'm going to make the other arm. Mr. Contrapposto. Okay, so now we've made the other arm, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the arm holding the sword, but maybe not. We'll see. All right, so that's, let's see, so those just spin pretty freely. All right, then we're going to take these pieces, and it says to put those here. All right, and then the shoulders going to go on there. Snap that on. Snap this. All right, gonna have to open this up. Okay, so we got that open, and of course I have to take his head back off. Whoops. You could just stick it through here like this. There. It's gonna go on there. All right. And what else is left? Yep. All right. So now we're going to make him put on his crown. Is that? Let's see how that goes on. Okay. So it's an inverted divot. So you have a hole, and then you kind of have another hole. It's different than any other Lego connector I've seen. All right. And then I don't know what that piece is for. Let's straighten that leg out. Got to get that shield on there. All right, and then that's going to go there. Now I have these pieces, and I don't know what they're for. So, yep, I don't know what they're for. I didn't see them anywhere. You know. And, oh, he's made to fit back. It shows you here. You can fit him back in the container. And there's something these are supposed to do. Let's see. Ah, gears. That's why his arms move freely. So look, you have gears. So he can hit you with the shield and chop a little bit with the sword. So he can, okay, so you can kind of move that. It's a little tough to move when his arm is, there we go. Okay, you can do that. And you might want to orient that shield differently. I don't know what our options are on that. Maybe we can come up with something. Like if you wanted the shield to face forward, how would we do that? So we could take that, let's see, out of his hand. And we could, you know, these can fit right in there. So there, now he's like that. Makes a, I don't know, might make a little bit more sense to have the shield like that. All right, so there, it goes like that. And there we go, King Matthias. And oh, if you want to see those playing cards, let's see what these are about. Well, for any of you that remember this game or know anything about it, Fireball Catapult, Sir Danju's new armor, and Castle of Morcia. All right, well, that's what those are. And then I guess this is the card game, the rules to playing the game. All right, well, thanks for watching. It was fun to share that with you. Especially love sharing Lord Ultimo Everyone should know about Lord Ultimo because he is the ultimate Bionicle character. And, you know, when my son was telling me about those those Bionicle competitions on the Lego website, I gotta admit, and not to brag, but I definitely had the best Bionicle figure. Of course, most kids are kids, and they probably didn't spend $140 in sets. Now, one more last thing. If you want to read about Bionicle and how it saved Lego and everything about it, there's an article by a guy named Asher Zach Newman. And here's that information. Bionicle, When Authentic Marketing Saved Lego. All right, so if you want to look that up, it's not that long of an article. Very interesting. And anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Take care.